So, to start off, I do have a little bit of a story time. That's right, it's story time, everybody. Also, commit tax fraud. This is not the story of how I committed tax fraud. We'll get to that another day. Well, actually, no. Just to be clear, I've not committed tax fraud. I just didn't pay my taxes. But that's the story for another day. This is the story of how I nearly got sued when I was 15 years old. 15 years of age. I was a child, and I nearly got sued. And let me tell you that story, because it is a wild one. It is a crazy one. So strap in, fellas, because I don't think you're ready for this one. This was like 4 years ago. Jesus Christ, it's been 4 years. I mean, I say that every time. I'm surprised by how long it's been since something, but still, I'm getting old. I'm achieving unk status. I don't like living anymore. But we need to time travel back to 2020. Now, actually, we need to time travel even further back for a little bit of context for this story. In 2015, I stumbled across a channel called DA Games, and the owner, Will Ryan. I was a big fan of these indie games, and this guy, Will Ryan, was making songs about them that I thought went really hard. A lot of them were even metal, which I didn't even like metal music and was never really a fan, but he just had a way of making the songs that just made them go hard. Even today, like, I can still look back and be like, that was a heater. I mean, the mixing was terrible, but like, and the writing's questionable, but like, so maybe I'm just blinded by nostalgia, but I still think some of those old songs go pretty hard. Newer ones are kind of mid. It's all kind of the same. But, if I criticize Will too much, he's going to be on my ass again. So, so I was a huge fan, and in around 2015, 2016, I even started growing out my hair, because he was known for his like long black and green hair. At the time, I wasn't allowed to dye my hair, but I grew it out to be exactly the same, like the exact same like emo style and shit as well. So I became like the emo kid in the class. And then I guess eventually I just kind of stopped watching. I don't know why. But in like late 2016, I just kind of stopped watching and listening until a game called Bendy and the Ink Machine came out. I had never played it. In fact, when I did play it later on, I thought the game sucked. Cool concept, terrible fucking gameplay. But when it first came out, I enjoyed watching other people play it. Like, I remember watching Jacksepticeye play through it, and I really enjoyed that. And then I found out there was this huge song made about the game. Huge song. It has like 100 something million views on YouTube, called Build Our Machine, which nowadays you might more so associate it with the meme of the kid performing the song in class and everybody cringing. But a lot of you probably know about the song because it is massive. You know what else is massive? I am still a fucking child. So then I rediscovered him. And I was like, oh, I remember this guy. And then I started watching his videos again, and I was like, damn, the quality has really improved. The editing's fucking goated. And the songs go hard. And so by like late 2017, he'd become my favorite creator. And by this point, I still had his hair, just without the green. And all I would do all day was literally just binge watch his videos. I'd listen to his songs. During school, I just sneakily hide my earbuds and just listen to his shit. I was the biggest fan you could think of. And then in 2018, I even started dyeing my hair green, just like his. I was that big of a fan now. And then eventually I realized, I've already copied his look. Why don't I just go all in and try to be like this guy? Because I'm a big fan and I really enjoy his stuff. So why don't I just try to be exactly like him? So that's what I did. I started to make covers of every single one of his songs. They were all terrible. I've deleted most of them except for a few that I've like unprivated because it was like a challenge, like in Marble streams and stuff like that, which is kind of embarrassing. But at least it's some of the newer ones, so they're still shit. But it's not like the 2017 ones, because we are not listening to those. We are not listening to those. All right, I was 12 and my voice was hitting puberty hard, so we are not gonna listen to that shit. No amount of money, or pussy, or weed, the three things I love the most in this world, could ever get me to unprivate those videos. I started copying his style, his clothes, his personality, his like editing. Started covering all his songs. Anything you could think of, I'd be copying it. I would rip that shit. It wasn't even a yoink and twist. It was just straight up like plagiarism in every conceivable way. And this carried on throughout 2019. I continued to do it with very, very little success. Some of the covers got like a few hundred views, which was hype, but that was about it. Nobody really cared to watch my subpar gaming videos, where I also said a few slurs. There's probably clips you can find online of me saying the N-word in those old videos. So that's fun. I continued copying everything he did until about mid-2020, early to mid-2020, when everybody was going on lockdown and spent all their time on the internet because what the fuck else were you supposed to do? And his fans found out about me and they weren't happy. And they'd be spamming my comment section with Dollar Store Will, Wish.com Will, Temu. Well, actually, this was before Temu, but still, like, Wish.com Will, fucking, bro thinks he's that guy. You're not that guy, pal. Bro thinks he's him. It was just so obvious I was trying to be Will, and his fans, because they were as big fans of him as I was, they noticed. They were very quick to catch on, and they got their friends to check it out too. And I got harassed, and I tried to ignore it and be like, these people don't bother me. I don't care what they say. I'm gonna keep trying to be like Will. I even made a statement being like, this is all coincidental. Like, yeah, I'm a big fan, but like, it's not like I'm copying him. I'm just inspired, and a lot of this is just coincidental. Why I even thought that response would fool any of his fans is fucking beyond me. Because obviously they knew. Obviously they knew. Who the hell was I trying to fool? All right? Anybody who was just maybe like a, I don't know, like avid viewer of Will, like occasionally watch the videos, just occasionally listen to some of the songs. Maybe I could fool them and be like, yeah, it's just inspiration. But like the hardcore fans, they could tell. They could easily tell. It was so obvious. But anyway, I continued, acted like it didn't bother me, even though it did. And I was very sensitive about it. Eventually, I would just like delete the comments, block the people from the channel. I would just like block them like softly and hope they wouldn't notice. So it just seemed like I was ignoring the comments, but I would still block them so the comments would be gone, so that people from the outside wouldn't like be exposed to the fact that I was copying Will. So very obvious. I was trying to like sneakily hide the evidence. As it goes, they noticed. They made alt accounts, and they went over to my Twitter and over to my Instagram and over to my fucking Facebook, everything you could think of. They went over there and they continued. But I kept pretending like it didn't bother me. I don't know, I'm just so persistent. I've always been like I've always been able to pride myself on the fact that, you know, I have this mindset of never giving up, and I always keep pushing no matter like the challenges I face. But in certain situations, it's also important to know when to give up. And I did not know when to give up here. I just kept persisting, thinking this will work eventually. If I just keep on going, I'll be able to replicate Will's success, and people will know how truly great I am. And then in early 2021, it all came to a head. Because now his fans were fed up. I kept thinking, they can't do shit. I'm unstoppable. I'm bulletproof. I'm bulletproof! Nothing to lose. Far away, far away. So I kept thinking, well, I'm just going to keep blocking. I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. Like, YouTube was also removing the dislikes, so it's like, okay, they can't see it anyway. So with the dislikes not being visible, and, you know, me just blocking and hiding comments and blocking people from the channel and shit like that, I was like, I'm just going to keep going. They can't do shit. They can hate. But that's about it. I don't give a fuck. Until they outsmarted me. I actually got outplayed. I thought I outplayed them. I was the one getting outplayed. Because Will is like popular from his songs and stuff like that. But it's very easy to like interact with him on like Twitter and Discord and stuff like that through his server. Because he's not more famous than you can like tweet at him and like, you know, tag him. And he'll likely, like 9 times out of 10, he'll see it. So his fans thought to, you know, tweet at him and be like, hey, Will, there's this guy on YouTube going by the name of Sulky who's been stealing your content. He copies your hair, your clothes, your mannerisms, your editing style. He plays a lot of the same games that you do. Even his Instagram posts, like his angles, the way he smiles in pictures, and his like captions, his way of writing. It's all very clear this shit's ripped straight from you. Will, in typical Will fashion, responded. And fellas, when I tell you he wasn't happy, I mean, this is the maddest I've ever seen him in my life. And bear in mind, during this point in time, I was keeping up with everything he did on YouTube, on Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, everywhere. And he had been mad at fans before. Don't get me wrong, all right? He's never been shy to, like, get mad at his fans. Even, like, he even made an apology video in, like, 2016 for yelling at his fans, which is one of the funniest apology videos ever because it has, like, sad Undertale music in the background.
Hello, YouTube. We're Ryan of DA Games here, and, we really need to talk.
He's not scared to get mad at his fans, even if they're kids. And this was no exception. Fellas, Will tweeted out saying something along the lines of, "It's not the first time I've seen this guy, but by this point he's definitely taken it too far. Please don't support him. This is taking it way too far." And even went on his Discord server to say shit like he's spineless and he doesn't care about hurting other people. It's all he does is hurt other people. He doesn't have an ounce of empathy in his bones. He's just a terrible human. And then on Twitter he'd be like, "I'm getting in contact with my legal team and we're gonna sue him." This caught me by surprise. The fact that he responded wasn't like surprising to me at all. But threatening a lawsuit, holy shit, dude. This is a child. All right, I'm not saying that me copying him wasn't stupid as shit. It fucking was, all right? That was a dumbass play. Like, it's one thing that these days, you know, I'm still like yoinking and twisting from a lot of streamers that I like Ludwig, obviously, Atriox, Squeaks, Sea-Dog, Foosly. There's a lot of streamers that I still yoink and twist from. But the important thing is that you try and just add your own little twist to make it your own and show your personality, as well as the fact that you're taking from several people and not just trying to be this one person, right? But I took everything from Will, as in everything. And that was fucking dumb, all right? It did get to a very weird parasocial obsessive level, but he would have a lot more leg to stand on if not for the fact that he threatened to sue a kid, a 15-year-old kid whose brain is far from being developed. All right? That's crazy. That's wild. He showed no mercy, and I was shit scared. Because not only was he saying he was going to take down my channel, which, looking back now, is like I should have expected that wasn't going to happen because I had like 300 subs at the time. And, you know, it's just very unrealistic for someone to take down a channel with 300 subs. But it's the point still stands that I think he was like 28 at the time, probably. He's in his early 30s now. He's probably like 27, 28, something like that, right? A 28-year-old with 1 million something subs at the time, threatening a lawsuit and a channel takedown of a 15-year-old with 300 subs is crazy. That is like so detached and out of touch with reality. And, you know, his fans obviously defended him. All right, I got shit tons of hate, right? Some of it was like more respectful, just saying like, hey, this isn't cool. You should probably try to do your own thing rather than trying to ride off of Will's success. Other people, you know, straight up like telling me go die because it's the internet. Like that's the kind of shit you'd expect. Like fucking, I've been on 2012 COD lobbies. Like that shit doesn't really bother me. Still pretty wild though. You know, all of this at 15 years old, that's a lot to handle. So like what I did at the time was just shut off like notifications, shut off like everything, not read my comments, not go on Twitter, not do anything. And I was just shit scared and fucking sad. And as I normally do when I'm sad, I would just lie in bed, cry while watching anime, gaming, and shit like that. That's all I did. I was so scared that, and I'm a guy who normally eats everything. All right, I eat until I cry. I'm a glutton through and through. You know, when I went on my weight loss journey, that was miserable. Worth it, but absolutely miserable in the process. But during this period of time, like, I got so anxious. It was so bad that I basically starved myself because I just couldn't get any food down. All I did was just like watch anime and YouTube and game just to like distract myself or like try to distract myself. And I had like, I was slacking off in school, but I started to just do my work heavily and going all in because I just needed something to distract myself. Obviously, now looking back, like, I don't know if the fact that he never went through with the lawsuit, I don't know if that was just because it was just a threat to get me to stop, or if he actually intended on going through with it, but logistically it just didn't work because, again, he was an adult and I was a teenager, and he was living in England and I'm living in Denmark. It's like, it doesn't, there, there's a lot more factors going into it. You can't just say, I'm going to sue this guy, and then you have a case. It's quite a lengthy and, complicated process. It's not just, gonna sue this guy. That was a good snap. Holy shit. Fucking Thanos snap. What's interesting is the school project I was working on at the time was YouTubers who were getting canceled. Mostly like for being pedophiles and for false pedophile accusations and stuff, shit like that. But it was still interesting to write it from, the perspective of someone who had just gone through a cancellation, which I even talked about in the like presentation. And like, what I did was obviously wrong, but I didn't realize just how fucked up it was of Will to to handle the situation the way that he did, until I brought it up in my presentation and started talking to like friends and family about it, where they were like, dude, you are 15 years old. This dude cannot just threaten a channel takedown and lawsuit. That's fucked up. You're a kid and he's a grown ass man. And it wasn't until I realized like, they're actually right. Oh my God, that is fucked up. I was still too big of a fan of Will to, be that I was blinded and being like, oh shit, yeah, fucking hell. It's Jover. I'm done for. I'm gonna kill myself. And that was when I sort of like stopped being blinded by, oh my God, it's Will, my idol. Holy shit, he can do no wrong. And been like, oh yeah, he's actually a piece of shit. It wasn't just that made me think like, oh, he's a piece of shit because he's suing me. It was also because I stopped being blinded by it that I started to realize on Twitter, like a lot of the takes he had were like just really just fucking wild. And there was even an entire document released exposing a lot of his like wrongdoings over the years. And I'm thinking of doing a whole separate video on that because it is a wild ride. It is quite the rabbit hole. But I think, regardless of the fact that at the time, this was like the worst experience of my life. I had never felt worse. I didn't know what to do with myself. It was like, it went from like being anxious and sad to just being empty and just sitting like this all day. And like, just trying to work, trying to watch YouTube, watch anime, play games, shit like that, just to distract myself so I wouldn't have to like, sit here alone with my thoughts, because that sucked. But ultimately, I think it was good that it happened. It gave me a new perspective on Will, where I started seeing the flaws in him as a human compared to just idolizing him and having this parasocial aspect and thinking he's the perfect human that can do no wrong, to finally like realizing, okay, he also has some skeletons in his closet. And it made me realize I need to stop copying this fucker. I need to start doing my own shit, right? I still, yoink some shit from other streamers and stuff. But again, it's the yoink and twist, not just plagiarism. So it made me realize, I need to be more Sander and not try to be Will. I need to find Sander. I need to find out who I am. And then, find out what we can do with that. So I think, it's super cliche. They always say, oh yeah, every time something bad happens, remember, it's just a stepping stone for you to grow as a person and to get to where you want to be. But it's true. It is absolutely true. I think this was a canon event. This was something that was meant to happen. It needed to happen in order for me to grow as a human in several different aspects, Without this happening, would I have stopped copying Will eventually? Maybe. I mean, probably eventually I would have realized, because even his content fell off and I grew out of it and I stopped being interested. And with the document as well and shit like that, I probably couldn't defend that with my morals and ethics. But it would have definitely taken a lot longer for me to stop copying him than it did because of this situation. This obviously halted me and, gave me a big barrier that I had to cross. And that took a while. But, I think it's good that it happened when it did, so it didn't like spiral out of control, because it was very close to spiraling out of control. But still one of the wildest experiences of my life. Nearly getting sued by an adult when I was 15 years old. That's wild. That is something I never would have imagined happening in a million years. Like, imagine going back to 10-year-old me when I had just found Will in 2015. That's a decade ago now. That's crazy. And being like, oh yeah, this guy that you've just found that you're a really big fan of, yeah, eventually in like 6 years, he's going to try to sue you. He's going to threaten you with a lawsuit, and he's going to threaten to take your channel down. And then a few years later, a document's going to be released revealing that he's actually like a pretty seedy, shitty person, and you're going to stop supporting him. Fucking 10-year-old me would not be able to comprehend that shit. But, you know, moral of the story, just don't copy people to the extent I did, all right? I'm not going to sit here and say, be completely 100% original, because that's not possible and would also be very hypocritical of me, considering, you know, a lot of the content that I do on this channel is yoinked from a lot of other creators, because it's impossible to be 100% original with all the thousands of videos uploaded daily. But you should always try to be as much as yourself as you can. Yoink and twist from other people, but, you know, don't let it consume your life too much like it did with me, because then eventually they might just end up threatening to sue your ass. And that's not very pog, not very peepo pog. So, you know, just don't do that. And whilst you're at it, one thing you could do that I would encourage you to do is to subscribe to my channel. All right? Just, you know, 80% of you aren't subscribed, so like I'd really appreciate it if you could click that subscribe button. That will be really, really hype. So, you know, just do that, and have a good rest of your day. If you're watching this in the YouTube video, have a good rest of your day, and don't get sued, please, and don't get scammed, please. Just don't copy me. Like, honestly, I was gonna say, like, I don't really care if you copy me. I'm not gonna try to sue you, but if you copy what I do, you're probably gonna regret it, you know, because you're gonna get scammed, you're gonna get sued, you're gonna lose your money on blackjack, you're gonna suck at Fortnite, you're gonna there's many different factors that you need to, like, you know, remember if you do try to copy me. Not that I would discourage you to do it, but just bear in mind, I am a human with flaws. Many of them, as a matter of fact. I am not a god, all right? And I am not your friend. Well, some of you I am, but, like, don't get parasocial. I speak from experience. Do not get too parasocial, because you might get sued. So, that's really about it, boys. That's that story. Probably one of the craziest stories of my life. I don't think anything will ever come close to that. So, yeah, that's crazy. That is wild.